Hello. Normally on Tuesdays, I do a video called Storytime Tuesday, but for the next several weeks, I'm going to switch it up a little bit, and we're going to have something called Tuneful Tuesday, and we're going to learn about instruments and the instrument families they belong to. So I have a problem, though. My sister gave me her clarinet, but I have no idea what to do with it. I think I know exactly who can help me with this.
Hi friends, I am so excited to share with you my favorite instrument in the whole wide world, and I was thrilled when Mrs. Gilles asked me if I would do a clarinet demonstration. My name's Suzanne Tabor, and I have known Mrs. Gilles for so many years. We met when we were in second grade, and it's just so cool that for both of us, music totally puts us in the green zone. So I have my clarinet with me, and you can see I've got a couple more behind me. I'm wondering if you can tell just by looking, what is the clarinet made out of? If you guess that it's made out of wood, you'd be correct. Not only is the clarinet made out of wood, but it also uses metal for the keys that we press down with our fingers. Some clarinets for beginners are made from plastic, but the really good ones that professional musicians play on are made from wood. So, if it's made from wood, I wonder what family of instruments the clarinet comes from. Did you guess the woodwind family? If you did, you're right. And one of the things the woodwind family has in common is almost all of those instruments are made from wood or were made of wood at one time. So I am going to share with you how the clarinet makes its sound. So in order for sound to travel, we have to have sound waves. And in order to make sound waves, something has to vibrate. Now, I watched Gathering with Gilles the other day and saw that Mrs. Gilles played the melodica. And I heard her mention that the melodica makes its sound by using a metal reed. But do you know what a reed looks like? Well, the clarinet can't make a sound unless something vibrates. So I'm going to show you a clarinet mouthpiece. And you'll see there's a hole here for the air to go through. But if I put this in my mouth and blow, nothing happens. I don't hear any sound other than just air. I don't hear beautiful music. So I have this little piece of wood. It's made of cane, and it's called a reed. Do you see how thin that is? I wonder why the reed would need to be really thin. Well, if you guess that it needs to be flexible so that it can bend and wiggle to vibrate, then you'd be correct. To make those sound waves happen, that reed has to be able to vibrate against the mouthpiece. And when I put it in my mouth and blow now, were you surprised at how loud that was? I know I was. So that's how we get the clarinet to make its sound. The reed sits on the mouthpiece and it vibrates against the mouthpiece when I blow air through the instrument. Now you'll notice all of these keys, and I have to use my fingers to let the sound come through the instrument and make different notes sound. So you'll notice when I add fingers down, the air has to travel further through the instrument, which kind of makes it longer and makes the sound go lower. Cool. All right, so the parts of the clarinet. We learned about the mouthpiece, which is very, very important. And we talked about the keys, but there's one more part down here at the bottom. And when you look at it, does it remind you of anything? Ding dong, ding dong. It's a bell. This is called the bell of the instrument, and it's shaped that way to let the sound come out and be heard from farther away. All right, I'm going to play a song you should all know. So whether you want to sing along as Twinkle or ABC or Baa Baa Black Sheep, you can choose whatever you'd like to sing, but I'm going to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. All right, now I've been playing the clarinet since I was in 8th grade. So I was probably about 13 years old. And I started on a different instrument that also uses the reed called a saxophone before that. But it takes a long time to really get good at an instrument. Lots of practice is involved. And so one of the things that makes the clarinet a little bit hard, especially as you learn more, is that we have to use a different combination of fingers for every single note. And the clarinet can play really, really low, and it can play really, really, really high. So we have to know different fingering combinations for all those notes, the low ones, the high ones, and all the ones in between. I'm going to show you a G, the note G. If you know your musical alphabet, you know A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then it has to repeat the alphabet because there's no H or I or J or any of those letters. So I'm going to play 4 different G's on the clarinet. And I want you to watch my fingers and see what they're doing. And notice that all of the G's look different. You also heard that the clarinet plays very, very low and very, very high. So we have to learn a lot of notes, and that can sometimes be tricky for people. But if you can get good enough, then you're able to play in all kinds of different music. You can play in jazz groups, you can play in band, you can play in orchestra, you can play in klezmer groups, Dixieland. There's all sorts of fun groups that you can play in. So I'm going to show you another thing that the clarinet can do, which is to bend notes a little bit. So instead of playing a note and having it be exact, you can fudge it a little bit, make it bend. This is just a tiny little passage of a piece that lets me bend notes a little bit. Pretty cool. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to show you before I play one last thing for you is that the clarinet can make the sound completely fade away. So I want you to listen. I'm going to play a note on the clarinet, and I want you to try and hear when you actually stop hearing the sound. It's going to take a little while. Did you hear when it stopped? Did you think it was done and then realize that there was still sound going? If you did, that's because you really, really had to listen. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to share with you is a piece that I've been working on, and it's only about a minute what I'm going to play. It's called Cantilène. It's by a French composer named Louis Cahuzac. And the cool thing about this French piece is the rhythm or the beat doesn't have to be very strict. I can make it speed up and slow down a little bit where I want to help express my own personality through the music. So, like I said, we're just going to play a little snippet of Cantilène by Louis Cahuzac. All right, friends, thank you so much for letting me share music with you. Thank you, Mrs. Gilles. I'm watching Gathering with Gilles every day. I hope you are too. Stay in the green zone, stay healthy, and listen to lots of music during our time away from the school building. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Wow, that was really impressive. I learned a lot about the clarinet, and I hope you did too. I'm really glad Mrs. Tabor didn't say exactly how long we've known each other, too. And I definitely appreciate the time that she took to share with us all about her clarinet and for her to play for us. It was fantastic, so thank you. So I have one more special guest, and this special guest is my niece Olivia, and she plays a woodwind instrument also. She plays the oboe, and she has been doing, this is her second year that she has been playing the oboe. And the difference between a clarinet and oboe, because when you see my niece play it, they have a similar shape. Not exact same, but it's the same color and there's silver keys. Another difference between the clarinet and the oboe is that this is a clarinet reed without the mouthpiece, obviously. And this is an oboe reed, and it's known as a double reed because it's like two of these reeds put together. Now these is much bigger than an oboe, but you get the idea. It's two reeds put together makes a double reed for the oboe. Can you guess which song Olivia is playing? Did you guess Christmas Don't Be Late, also known as the Chipmunk song? Pretty awesome. Before you know it, we'll be singing those songs again. So thank you for joining me for Tuneful Tuesday, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for Wacky Wednesday. Goodbye.